Hello and welcome to yet another session from Hero Mind Mind. Hero Mind Mind is a part of Hero Brand, one of the India's premier organization in the space of business and people transformation through training, development, and consulting services. Hero Mind Mind proudly presents an interactive session, a digital capsule, reinventing self. Now, why reinvent yourself? Why now? All of us are aware of the unprecedented kind of circumstances that we are all going through. And in the last 1 year, all of us had learned one mantra: return, reimagine, and reinvent. And, as one of my friend used to say very clearly, says, जिंदगी एक मुसलसल सफर है, जो मंजिल पे पहुंचो तो मंजिल बढ़ा दो. Life is a continuous journey. When you reach a milestone, take it ahead. Mr. K.S. Ahluwalia, as he wants himself to be called KS, I would not like to introduce him. I think, KS, you should just go ahead and introduce yourself. All over to you.
Right. Thanks, Jogender. Am I audible properly?
Wonderful.
Yes.
Right. Great. So lovely evening, and the only introduction I have is that I have no introduction, because there's no past I have. I live in the present, and I dream the future and make it happen. So that's the only introduction I have. Okay. चलो यार एक काम करते हैं. We understand Hindi also. I think I'm in India. Hindi आती होगी थोड़ी बहुत. Yes, no.
Yeah, we can go ahead on this.
Okay. So I'll share a story with you, right? In fact, we have stopped listening to stories, and our life has become a story where we are running against time, each time, every time, and we get up in the morning, pre-dawn, and the fire starts. And if you are working in multiple timelines, then the first thing you have your reports, and by the time you hit the office or your workplace or your workstation, you are half dead. The brain stops working, because it's always figures and figures and figures and figures. So let me share a story with all of you. There were 4 professors of philosophy, and they were standing at a railway station, Indian railway station, and as usual, the train was late. Now these were professors of philosophy, so they went into a discussion on philosophy, and they were so engrossed in it that they forgot that the train had arrived. So when the whistle blew, all 4 of them ran towards the train. 3 managed to get in the train, 1 couldn't. Very despondent, this guy comes, sits on the bench. A Smartian looks at him. He feels that he's sad. He walks up to him and asks him, "Why are you so sad? After about half an hour, a new train is going to come, another train is going to come to the same destination." Now this professor says, "I am aware that there's another train which is going to come in 30 minutes, but I'm sad for my colleagues." This guy got a little worried about it. He said, "Why are you sad? They boarded the train. You should be happy." He said, I wish I could say that. They'd come to see me off. In the hustle and bustle, they boarded the train. Exactly. Let's reflect, pause, and ponder. Are we in the same boat? Are we just running? Alice in Wonderland, a beautiful quote is there. It says, if your direction may be important, but if your goal is not there, you may travel at 100 miles an hour, but still reach nowhere. When did the last time we paused, reflected, enjoyed, celebrated, immersed, expanded in what we are doing? Just think about it. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. Life is to enjoy. Life is to expand in your life, in all your dimensions. It is not vertical growth. It's a growth across spectrum. That's life. And that's what we are all born for. Now let's go back a little, right? When we were infants. Let's go back to that. Imagine that scenario. A young toddler, he cares a hoot about anything. If he wants to sleep, he will sleep. If he wants to get up, he'll get up. If he wants to eat, he'll eat. He lives in his individuality. He explores himself. He's in love with himself. He doesn't care about what people think. He only cares about what he thinks. Where are we now? We have got individuality ko substitute karke, we have done personality. We have got masks and masks and masks all over us, and we've forgotten our face. थोड़ा सा जरा रुकिए और एक बारे में जरा सोचिए. मैं एक शायर हूं यार, तो एक आपको कथा सुनाता हूं, अगर इजाजत हो आप लोगों की, कि जो अपना ना हो सका वो किसी और का क्या होगा. जो अपने से अपनी तारीफ ना कर सका वो किसी और की क्या तारीफ करेगा. और जो खुद से मोहब्बत ना कर सका वो उस परवरदिगार की क्या इबादत करेगा. Love yourself, respect yourself, and be yourself. That's the only reinvention you need to do. बाकी सब ज्ञान है. And for God's sake, start laughing, have humor, be light on your feet. We are heavy on your feet, on our feet, and we are constipated in our brains. Don't do that, yaar. Just be bouncy in your life. You are here to perform, just perform. Just forget about results. They will come. If the input is okay, the process is fine, output has to come. Not even God can stop it. Get that very clear. The only belief you have, and you need to have, is a belief in yourself. बाकी सब मोह माया है. जरा हंसी लाइए यार. When I am blessed that I talk to various audiences across the world. And the only thing which connects people is when you have empathy with them. Languages disappear. Vocabularies are not important. And remember, guys, or folks, people work for people. They never work for a company. Get that very clear. Most of us transit because of bad people management. So you can only radiate happiness to others if you are happy. You can only, you must have the tenacity and the capacity in your life to touch, move, and inspire people, not sermonize, direct, control, and demean them. When I talk to the CEOs of the organizations, I always stress this point. You are in a conscious business where you are a facilitator to your employees, not a watchdog. Let's get that clear. Let those guys take a flight. Let them soar. And in their soaring, you would see beautiful pastures and valleys and peaks. But let them soar and stop these mundane Monday meetings. मुझे आज तक नहीं समझ आया यार. We hire people, right? We first employ them. When we train them, and after that, we question them. There is something drastically wrong in our process of recruitment and training. मुझे अपने पे विश्वास नहीं है कि मैंने अच्छे लड़के लिए हैं कि नहीं. I need to ask them. You don't need to ask people. You need to give them the space to perform. I'll share an example with you. And I've been blessed that whatever I am today is not because I was intelligent. No way. Or I was educated. Forget it. My people made me. The only strength which I have, and which I'm very, very humbled to admit in front of everyone, is my team believed in me and the superiors believed in me. I just facilitated both of them. And that was the easiest thing to do. I was working in an organization, and I'll share this example with you. How do you reinvent yourself there? We had, I was in sales that time, and in sales, you have those incentive trips, right? The companies make you work, and then they take you out for a 8 days trip. I still remember this very, very clearly, deftly. There was a young girl who was on the family way, and she was having tears, and I was walking through the corridor. And I asked her, what's the problem, man? She said, Alu. I was known as Alu. I'm known as Alu in my corporate life. She said, Alu, I can't join the trip. So I looked at her. I said, why? She said, because my targets are not being done. So I looked at her, and there was a young guy who was a management trainee that time who was passing by. So I called him. I said, what is she blabbering here? And you know what he said? Just 6 months old in the company. He said, sir, I don't think so she understands what she says. Her targets have been done. We are going as a team. We are not going alone. Now, folks, to this team, you will ask questions. To this team, you will take reports. To this team, would you do those Monday meetings? No. They are the assets. They need to be protected. They need to be nurtured. They need to be lauded. They need to be applauded. They are not simple people. They are beings of substance. And I can tell you, my success was only because of them. These guys used to work. They used to do all the hard work, get the revenues in, and I used to enjoy on them. So my job was only to facilitate them. And I used to fight with the management for everything which the team needed, because I need to protect them. You don't question your people. And for that, you don't question yourself. You improve yourself. The amount of time we use in questioning ourselves, the amount of time we try to justify ourselves, the amount of time we use to fence ourselves, 1/10, we can just improve ourselves. And that makes a hell of a difference. Yes or no? And let me ask all of you one simple question. When was the last time we did the thing for the first time? Think about it. You need to be a Christopher Columbus to rediscover yourself every day. And the day you do that, and the moment you do that, you add life in your movements, not moments in your life. And that's a hell of a difference. I've been blessed, I told you. I always say, 18 years in the corporate life, 6 countries, 9 industries, 21 management levels. And the only thing I knew was that I was available for experiences. Na to sunna nahi. And if someone used to tell me, you can't do it, I used to stick my neck out, I will do it. And you know why? I'm a pretty selfish guy. I used to learn on company's expense a new function. Because when you're into crisis, right, you have coaches, right, who help you to succeed. I went to the Ivy colleges for trainings. You know why? Because I wanted to learn. If a new function was given, they had to equip me. तो मुझे प्रॉब्लम क्या है यार? समझना ही तो है. ऐवे पंगे लेने. I was in sales and I moved to marketing. From marketing, I moved to HR. From HR, I moved to corporate communications. From corporate communications, I went to logistics. From logistics, I went to the advertising and publishing. And then I was into operations. And finally, when you're good for nothing, they make you responsible for the company. And I was there. And I retired my first innings at the age of 35, when I was responsible for a 60 billion organization's India ops. Because the calling came, reinventing yourself. I'm just talking about it. What is the purpose effect? I used to have mentors. I still have mentors. I have 14 mentors. One of my mentors was the Asia Pacific chief of Coke. And when you are in a position, thoda sa ahankar aa jata hai, ego aa jati hai. Zahir hai, right? So I went to him and I showed my card, which had the designation printed. He put that card on the table, on the side table. He didn't even look at it. And he looked into my eyes straight and asked me, Alu, tera card kab aayega? And that hit me. It pierced. And I told him, I said, SK, 6 months mein mera card aayega. My name will be known. And after that will be the organization. And that is reinventing. I started with nothing, but had that passion. कुछ तो करेंगे, yes or no? और जो भी करेंगे बेहतरीन करेंगे, क्योंकि अब अपने लिए करेंगे और अपने आप से मोहब्बत करेंगे. Life is so easy, yaar. I don't know why we make it difficult. And I can tell you from my little experience I have, I've been into the coaching field. When I started in 2000, that time coaching in India was looked at as a psychiatric issue, because we Indians, we have three things which are very clear with us. Number one, I know what God knows. I know what God should not know. And I know what God will not know, because I know. Ask anyone, he'll give you an opinion. His career may be down in dumps, but he'll tell you what career progression is all about. He's been in the same function for 20 years, then he talks about innovation and creativity and risk-taking. Don't even look at them. I always stress and argue, a man is not known by the company he keeps, but is better known by the company he avoids. Stop getting sucked with wrong people. Any person who saps you, makes you weak, makes you inward coiled, well, just leave it. You got better things to do, not bitter things to do in life. Be very discreet, be very careful, and just be with you. And one more thing which I always stress, that hobbies are a core. Have hobbies in your life. Work is a pie in the pizza, not the whole pizza. And the other thing is, what type of questions you and I ask. Remember one thing, change your questions to change your life. You know, Harvard did a study, and that's beautiful. I loved it. 92% of us, 92 times in a day, we say no. अब इसके बाद रह क्या गया यार? इसको उल्टा कर दो. 92% you say yes and you're there. Am I right? Just reflect in yourself. Any new thing which comes your way, I am now in a bad shape. The company is going to screw me up, right? I start with a no. And in the end, the result is anything but good. How many of us have gone back to the boss and told him, hey, I need more creativity. Give me some more responsibility, man. How many of us have become allies to our bosses? Not the competition. You're not there to replace him. Let's get that very clear. You're there to evolve him. And I'm furthering this and saying, how many of us have become change agents for our customers? You don't sell to a customer. You give a value proposition. And the day you give a value proposition, you have a lifelong relationship with him. And when you have a relationship, you are not given a price. There's no negotiations. Your body language changes. I'm blessed, again, I use this word. I don't print cards. I'm a very poor guy. Yeah, Joginder can vouch for that. Because a card costs hell of a money. And 93% is my referrals. And when you are referred, you don't need to say anything. Am I right? People work for people. They never work for a company. You and I are here to create something more meaningful, more constructive, more bewitching, and more laudable. Have I improved every day? How many people have touched, moved, and inspired in my life? Just think about it. And we use this word rat race. Ab kya sunaye yaar? Even if you win the race, you're still a rat. And I was not born to be a rat. Not me, at least. I'm very clear. And neither my team. I can share one example with you. I'm talking about 1992, 92 or 93. The guys who have a little white hair, they'll remember that the only discotheque we had in Delhi was Bhunguru in Moria. And to get the membership there was something out of the world. My team were members of discotheque. You know why? You know how the targets used to be done? I used to ask them. I never used to ask them what I want. I used to ask them, what do you want here? How much money you want to earn? So one will say 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, whatever that is. I used to pool all that together. Acha, 1 crore is the incentive we want. Now do a reverse. How much targets we should have? Now here you engage the team. Am I right? So the target was about 6x what we are doing. I used to go to my boss. I won't name him. He was a chairman of a company. And I used to be heading the sales. And he used to ask me, Alu, what next? So I used to tell him, what do you want? So he used to say 2x. I'm prepared for 6 already. Why should I tell him? I said, take a jump, man. So he used to say 3x. I said, fine, 3x. Deal done? Yeah. This is the increment. This is the world trip they have to do. No questions. Now, you know what I used to do? I used to make other people life miserable. Because if I was doing 3x, the other VPs also had that problem. Am I right? My boys were already ready for 6x. These teams are not asked. They're facilitated. Am I right? And when the guy owns up, he creates a breakthrough. Am I right? And I used to use this term very often with my team. कि मार्केट में बता दो कि बच्चों से तो खेल लिए, अब दो हाथ हमारे साथ खेल लो मियां, तुम्हारे खेलने के अंदाज बदल देंगे हम. And when the guy goes with this confidence, he will never come back with a tail between his legs. Am I right? That's the team of winners. That's the team of giants. That's the team where you die as an individual to rise up as a team. My card never used to have my designation. The guy would come into my room without any appointment because I work for them. There's no damn strategy which I can do at the expense of my people. They are the God for me. So the only meeting I used to have with them is whenever someone used to come, I used to make him sit down, offer him a cup of coffee, because he has come to you. He's got some confusion, and my job is to help him make an informed decision. And that's what I was paid for. Nothing more. That's so scientific. Am I right? ये गणित बहुत साफ है. इसमें Pythagoras theorem नहीं है. Yes or no? I remember I was sitting with the CEO of a company and he told me, he said, Alu, I've got glass doors in my whole office. So I looked at him and I told him, I said, by all means have steel doors, but I have an open heart. When a person comes to you, stand up for him. बिक जाएगा तुम्हारे पे. How many times have I asked my staff or my people about their family? How many times I've participated with them? How many times I've actually helped them without expecting returns? I am again saying, I left the corporate life when I was in 2002. I started in 1982. Okay. And I can tell you, I worked in organizations. My first organization was, I was in paints, and that was a multinational company. And at 18 years, I was the youngest employee of the company. And I was a sales trainee. And my first salary was 500 rupees. Katke 4 for 52 milti thi. And my job was to go house to house, paint the wall, and convince the housewife to buy my products. I still remember my first interview with the guy who was a regional head. He asked me, he said, why? He asked me, he said, you don't have an experience. I said, I don't need an experience. He said, why should I select you? I said, you got no choice. You got to select me because I can do wonders for you. And he looked at me. He was an IIM graduate. You know, IIM graduates have that a little tough. He said, what's your vision of life? I said, I got to replace you in 5 years. 18-year-old guy, look into the eyes and talk. So I am crazy because there is no pattern we follow. Patterns are followed by those people who believe that life is a straight line. Life is never a straight line. It's valleys and peaks. And I can tell you today, very, very vividly, I say that openly, I've got more valleys than my peaks. I must have failed so many times, but I enjoyed them. I celebrated them. Purpose effect is one more. The other thing which I did and gave me results, I'm just sharing that with you. The day my team used to not perform, right? They had a bad day. That was the day I used to take them out and paint the town red. That's the day they need you. Am I right? That's the day their chips are down. Am I right? We used to have a blast and all on me because they were the guys who used to fill my coffers also. Am I right? And next day I knew I would che chakke marega. Because now the thing has come that I am not being questioned. I've been given the freedom. Yeah. People work for people. They never work for anyone, for any company. Celebrate the failures. Enjoy them. Have that tenacity and the capacity and the candor to go in the town hall and say openly, bluntly, as the leading man or a woman, I screwed up. I'm sorry, guys. They love you for your authenticity. I can share a very personal example with you. Cheryl, you're aware who Cheryl is, right? Cheryl was in India about 3 years back, and she was launching a book here in India. And I was one of those guys who happened to be there. And I was amazed and amused. I never get angry. The questions being asked to her, how did you succeed? So I just got up and I asked her, I said, Cheryl, how did you fail? I'm not interested in how you succeeded. Tell me, how did you fail? And you know what she told me? He said, Alu, I gave my name as Alu. Alu, we step aside. Me and Cheryl were in the coffee shop for 6 hours, 1-to-1. And surely it was not bees and birds. Am I right? She talked everything about her life. She said, I asked her, why me? She said, because you were the only one who asked, how did I fail? I said, I don't care how you succeeded. Because what you didn't do well is the learning for me. Am I right? And that is why I always tell people, and I urge them, don't introduce yourself here. Don't have 3-page biodatas. The past is all gone. What you and I can co-create today is the only present we have. Kal naam khuda ka hai. We are here for a purpose. We are here to change our questions, to change our life. We are here to do something which is beyond the ordinary. We are here to enjoy. We are here to laugh. We are here to just be us. Let this fire be there in everyone. Rekindle it, yaar. And I can tell you, you'll make a happy person. You'll create happiness all around. And you'll be a professor of happiness in wherever you go. Bloom wherever you are planted. You don't need any environment to get planted. Create that environment. Life is very simple. It's so simple to be happy. Yet, folks, it's so difficult to be simple. Isn't that easy?
Yeah.
थोड़ा हंसो यार, कुछ गीत गाओ, कुछ पोइट्री लिखो, कुछ गार्डनिंग करो, कुछ पेंटिंग करो. जिंदगी यही है. Who will cry when I go? Is that the only motto? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And let me share a katha jo which I have used in my life, and whatever I still believe in it, and I'm going to continue to believe in it. And that is a job of a professional, whoever he is, whichever category he is, whichever position he is. कितने ही तानसेन गुमनाम रह गए, एक मौका ना मिला तो नाकाम रह गए. तुलसीदास कई हैं, कई टैगोर भी यहाँ, एक ही आप ना समझें, है गालिब और भी यहाँ. है लाखों कलाकार, पारखी की कमी है. हीरे तो हैं हजार, जौहरी की कमी है. ना रूप देखिए, ना नाम देखिए, बस देखिए तो आदमी का काम देखिए. यही है जिंदगी यार, बाकी सब डायलॉग्स हैं. I invite you all to this celebration, to something which is known as living life king size. That's it. Zindagi jiyo. And when you work, don't work hard or smart. Just immerse in it. I always say I read. I still read a lot because there's a reason. I hardly know anything. I have done over about 100 courses in the management. And after doing every course, I look at myself and in the mirror and say, what an idiot I was. I didn't even know this. And I'm inspired by one statement of Albert Einstein, one of the greatest philosophers of the world. You know what he said? He said, I know so little, to the immense, I am ignorant. If Einstein can say that, हम तो यार उसके खाक के मुकाबले में भी नहीं हैं. And that is what Beethoven also said. Most of us go down in our graves with music still left in us. Use that. अगला जन्म किसने देखा है? We have to live like kings, but be detached from the goodies. Help others to perform better than you. And I can tell you, with the limited experience and knowledge which I have, you'll never be sad. You'll never regret it. हाथ में शफा हो, काम घर पे आता है दोस्तों. काम ढूंढने नहीं जाया करते. Selling is referrals. The guy who does a cold call doesn't know selling. How can someone leave you? There's something wrong with the leader, not the person. Stop categorizing people. Start enjoying and immersing in that. In the last years, I used to always tell my team one thing, and I still maintain that. I used to do town hall meetings periodically, and my last line with them was, if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? Thank you, guys. Thank you, folks.
So good. Thanks, KS. That was very wonderful, and I can see some comments which are coming. These are wonderful things people are talking about, I have, received a few questions also. If you're fine, then I'll just go blot out those questions on behalf of the people.
Please, I'll be humbled.
Okay, wonderful.
Good.
Okay, so first question said, great sir, please focus on self-analysis, how to fix the position where you are, and what are the tools for reinventing? Quite a very wholesome kind of a question.
First of all, appreciate your question, and let me make it a little more easier and humorous. Get out of this paralysis of analysis.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Just look at what you didn't do properly, and what you have done and what you ought to do. The growth starts from there. So stop burdening yourself with more data. Make your hard disk empty. Look at the where the gap was. Thank yourself for the gap. Don't reprimand yourself for the gap. Say that, wow, I learned what not to do. Explanation is not required. Exclamation is required. And make small goals in life of a purpose effect. Have the battle tactics for them. One step at a time, firmly.
Yeah.
And believe in yourself even if you fail, because you get a new way to do the same thing again. Please stop justifying and fencing and thinking too much. Brooding never helps. And the day you have a bad day, go treat yourself to a coffee in a good hotel. मैं बता रहा हूं यार, I have made strategies for organizations on that tissue papers which we get there. So don't get into paralysis, don't get into vocabulary. Just look at making things simple for yourself. Your simplicity is the only advantage you have.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful advice. I have another wonderful question. It says, when you say yes to everything, it gives you experience. Yes, that's correct. But then it leaves no time for yourself. How do we manage that then?
Okay, very nice question. Let me put it this way. The moment you say yes to yourself, right, you have so much time in the world to do all the things that you want. I'll share a very simple example of mine here. Hardly a guy in a guy on the totem pole I am. I write for about 14 periodicals. I write for about 8 blogs. Right? I do my professional things. I write on philosophy. I write on management, leadership, blah, blah, blah. Right? From 10 to 1, I do my शेरो शायरी. दुनिया इधर की उधर हो जाए, मुझे शेरो शायरी अपनी करनी है. Okay? I work with organizations of metal. I can just tell you, I work with small organizations. I say small because their thinking is big. I also work with the United Nations. I work with the defense. And I can tell you one thing, I have still all the time in the world to chat up. I sleep at 2, get up at 6. But that 4 hours is a restful sleep. And the whole day, I don't have time even to think what's happening because I'm busy enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think that's the key. When you enjoy what you do, then you don't have to work for a day in life. So absolutely, this is wonderful that you have to enjoy. And saying yourself is saying to yes to life. That's very important. And Kes, I think very well put it. I have shared, with you, when you say yes to yourself and you commit yourself to yourself, then you can do wonders in life.
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely.
Jogendra, I'll just take 2 cents in this with your permission.
Yeah, sure.
There are 2 words which I want you people to reflect. We make decisions in life mostly. Decision is you got choices, alternatives, and you take the best out of that. Forget it. That's a pedestrian way of living. Choose things. Because when you choose, you become accountable. When you become accountable, you're responsible. And when you're responsible, the adrenaline works. Because now you cannot put the blame on anyone else.
Right.
I choose to have a vanilla ice cream. because I don't need to justify that. I choose to be a CEO at the age of 34. That's it. So now the goal is set, the purpose effect is set, reverse osmosis starts. How would I do it? When would I do it? What new competencies and skills I need to have, and what not I need to do. Simple enough,
yeah. Yeah. Wonderful.
Nuclear fission.
Yes. I think the next question is also coming somewhere around that. Said, can you please give us some tips on how to get self-esteem during reinventing self?
यार एक मिनट बताओ मुझे, जब when you reinvent yourself, where is the self-esteem gone?
Yeah.
तो भाई मैंने अभी बोला जो अपना ना हो सका वो किसी और का क्या होगा?
Yes.
चलिए I'll give you a very simple example यार. मैं लोगों से ना मैं हैरान होता हूँ when I talk to people. Some people, not all people. If I tell someone ना यार तू बड़ा अच्छा लग रहा है, you're looking very smart today. You know what he say? मजाक कर रहा है यार. Damn it! You can't take a compliment. Am I right? You know why we don't take a compliment? Because we don't believe in ourselves. Why don't we believe in ourselves? Because we get swayed by people who find faults in us. That's the way we are. That's not the way you were. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely right. You know, the first
You
of
look
all,
at a kid,
your
yaar,
commitment has
he
to be
laughs at
yourself.
the kid laughs at his body. Am I right? वो हंसता रहता है. And let me tell you, yaar, when a young infant laughs, the divinity laughs. Am I right?
Yes.
You must have seen that. How many times have we laughed here?
Yeah.
How many times when we are in the office or in a workplace, we just put our legs up and say, यार चल यार, ऐश करते हैं, एक break लेते हैं, एक construct break, not a break for a fag or something. Just take a break, chill, and you bounce back with vigor. Coming back to esteem, get out of these words, yaar. Change your questions. Whenever you talk to yourself, just say, I'm good, I need to be better.
Yeah.
And never talk about your past with people. For God's sake, relate with people. They are important, not what the hell you've done in the past. Because past yardsticks are not the future milestones. Easy enough?
Yeah, absolutely. When you take every day as a new day, you know, things like self-esteem, when you commit yourself to yourself, that's, you know, where the self-esteem kind of things just go out in thin air. Quite. I have another, you know, question. Says we all work in teams and everyone with different capabilities, and that's okay. But when there are members who aren't willing to put efforts and not willing to go extra mile for the people and the company, how do you suggest we should motivate such people?
Very beautiful question. Let me clarify two things with you. Your question is based on judgment. I don't know, it's a lady or a man. Oh, bhai, if you judge people, when will you love them? You are judging people and you want them to be conformists.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. It hasn't worked. It shall never work. Yeah. Easy hai. Remember, every person has a melting point. Find that melting point. Your job is to be an observer, not a dictator. Your job is to find that melting point and just play on that, and the guy works on that. And for that, you need to be passionate to yourself and to others. You need to be responsible for yourself and the others. And one more thing, never motivate people, yes. Motivation is external. That's what happens in most training sessions.
Right.
Jao, right? I'll tell you what happens in the training session. I was in that field once. Jao, rhetoric hota hai, acha lagta hai. You give a fantastic feedback. You come back. Next day, you hit a wall. You're back to the same. It's not that the training sessions are bad. What did you gain from there? Did you make your POA measurable? Remember, measure what matters. You've invested 1 day of your life in education. You need to effect a quantum leap.
Yeah.
And that is where reflection comes in. Am I right?
Yes.
Be a sponge. Don't be a stone. Don't judge the facilitator. learn from him, because you're getting 1,000 books in 1 hour or 2 hours or 5 hours. Am I right?
Yeah.
And if you do that with your team, they'll be floored. How many of us have actually gone and did a handshake with the people and handhold them and taught them by self-exemplification? Why do I have to sit in a cabin? I need to be in the trenches with the soldier. And the day you do it, he'll love you for that. Inspire one, it is like enthusiasm which spreads like wildfire.
Right.
The most easy thing is to work with people. The most easy thing is to do business. The most easy thing is to be yourself. And the most easy thing is to have constructive relationships with people without expectations.
Right. Right. Absolutely. There's another question, coming from Sandeep. He says how to evaluate state of happiness in your life and how to improve it. So while you're talking about measurement of, whatever you do or whatever you learn, he says, okay, I want to measure happiness. How do I measure happiness?
Okay, Sandeep, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Sandeep, yaar, ek baat bata mujhe. When you observe a rose, can you measure the happiness? Or when you sit with your loved one, can you measure that moments or their eternity? Think about it. Everything is not quantified, and everything shall never be quantified. Am I right?
Yeah.
So happiness is a state of being. It is not a transaction. I can share a very personal example. My wife is an environmentalist. Our home, right, blessed by the Lord, we've got over 5,000 pots. तो मुझे जब हैप्पीनेस करनी होती है, when I get fatigued, मैं बाहर जाता हूँ, कुर्सी लगाता हूँ, पॉट्स के बीच में बैठ जाता हूँ. अब इसको पागलपन भी कह सकते हैं, मोहब्बत भी कह सकते हैं. And I have done seminars for Ivy colleges sitting in my garden. I shared that yesterday with them. People are not going to see what I'm wearing or where I'm sitting. People are more interested what are the take homes for them. Am I right?
Right.
And that is the only happiness you have. When you give to others, you actually become fulfilled and complete. You are in total and in totality.
Right. So,
and that's not something out of the world yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
The guys who have kids, the folks who have kids, when the kid is happy, the whole environment of the house changes. Am I right?
Right.
Find those happy moments.
Yeah. Yes, I read your piece a couple of days ago. I think there's a question, something related with that. So I just take that first. What's your advice to startup entrepreneurs who are going through bad times now?
Yaar, Eva batao, I can share my example with you. I'm an entrepreneur, right? Last year when the pandemic happened, people said that companies are closing down. Which companies are closing down? You believe the companies which are doing well, right? They will be still doing well. And the company, and even if the time is bad, because they know how to restructure themselves, reinvent themselves. The companies which were not doing well, they will never do well because they are in justifying. Startup. What is a startup? There's a difference between a startup and a company, which is a nascent company. A startup is an agile, lean organization, which is light on the feet, which looks at new possibilities, which looks at viewing new breakthroughs. And for that, you need peaceful mind. For that, you need to be immersed in what you're doing. I can give you a very personal example. I coach one of the leading jeweler organizations, right, in India, and they have footprints all over the world. And when the pandemic started, jewelry was the last thing. Yes. Well, just to give an example, we just rehashed the whole thing. Instead of being a piece of ornament, we made it as a piece of security and a piece of facilitation for the employees. And their turnover has improved by 4x during this period. Change your questions to change your life.
remember that book, about Hindustan Unilevers, and where he talks about, he says, what is the problem? That's the big question. If you can identify, then you can do wonders. I think there is another question, coming from Dr. M.M. Rao. Says, please give some suggestions on today's generation of employees and today's corporate culture, where the senior people in the team always argue to tell that I know a little more than you know.
Dr. Rao, the first thing is that you and I don't know. We never had Siri and we never had Alexa with us. So let's not argue. Let's accept that these guys are better informed. Now, the only thing is they are informed. With an experience, what we've gathered, we need to channel that. That's all we need to do. There are no brownie points being secured on each other, scored on each other. Knowledge is the fallacy. Wisdom is the light. So let's not have informed information. What you and I read 10 years back is a garbage today. New things have come in. By the time, Dr. Rao, you and I, we started this interface with each other, some management concepts, some new formulas would have come. We are on a real-time basis. Am I right?
Right.
So let's not get into the system of judging and fencing what we know. No, we don't know. Why we don't know? Because they know better. So once they know better, we'll be a facilitator rather than a judge. Automatically, relationship will happen. And I'll give you a very simple example, Jogendra, if you allow me a minute. I'll share a very personal example with you. I used to work in a very small organization. I always said small. They were institutions, not organizations. FedEx. And FedEx was known for its quality. Am I right? In the US, they don't say posted. They say FedEx it. 10:30 means 10:30, doesn't mean 10:31. So we were at a location in Middle East where the Asia Pacific chief was there. And Fred Smith, the owner of FedEx, was there. And I happened to be. कभी-कभी हम जैसे लोगों को भी बुला लेते हैं. So the Asia Pacific chief gave a presentation, which the company saved about $10 million. I'm talking about 1998. $10 million was huge, man. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So रात को party हुआ. We all danced to the glory. Morning, when we came to the room, to the conference, there was a notice there that the Asia Pacific chief has been sacked. Why? The guy gave $10 million of a profit line. Am I right? He was sacked.
Yeah.
Can someone help me with the answer? Can someone unmute and give me the answer? Think about it. Fred Smith sacked him. Anyone? Allow some people to give the answer here.
Yeah. Just maybe if somebody wants to answer, please raise your hands, probably, or put it in the chat box.
Or just write it down, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
No, Manmeet, no shortcuts were there. At those levels, you don't do shortcuts. You're
Yes.
talking to Asia Pacific 30 countries. So let's not go.
Yeah.
बेचारे की नौकरी चली गई यार.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. So there's another one which is.
I'll give you the answer, Jogendra.
Right. Okay, yeah, please.
If you knew it, why didn't you do it?
Yeah.
Why are you waiting for the conference? As a senior manager, you're supposed to be responsible, not look at brownie points. That's a lesson. Are we responsible? Are we doing what we ought to do? Or are we doing what we want to do?
Yeah.
And when you do what you ought to do, then there is no age gap, there's no experience, there's no knowledge chasm. Then you are a cohesive unit, and where each one works for each other. Pass the ball, not the man. The ball has to reach the goal. Yes or no?
Yeah.
You are not important. The ball is important. Am I right?
Yes.
Get the hell out of that. You will take the ball. No. It's a process. It's a sequence. It's a series. Just be a part of the series.
Right.
And I can tell you from a little experience that I have, you love that moment.
Absolutely wonderful. Good. Thanks. Yes. I have another very multi-talented person, Chandresh. He says, how do you choose the best out of you to take it forward if you are multi-talented?
If you're multi-talented, then it's the most easy thing, yeah.
Yeah.
You know your which are your drivers and which are your nurturers, and start using it. By if you what's the name? I forgot the name. Jugender, can you?
Chandresh. Yes.
बिरयानी अच्छी बनाता है तो खिचड़ी क्यों बना रहा है यार? So make biryani which after the biryani you don't want to eat anything because you want to savor the taste. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I would look at you, yeah, that you will be a lighthouse lit internally while guiding others.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Forget about what people think about you, yeah. You are multi-talented, that you agree. So I would put this, just be the best. And the only and remember, Phil Crosby was right. Quality never has the finishing line.
Yeah.
And be the Christopher Columbus in it.
Yeah.
And maybe one day, me and Joginder will stand in a queue to take an autograph from you.
We'll be very happy. I think that this is good, Chandresh. This is a good question. In my view, basically the art or the science of it is to discipline yourself. Put discipline into your approach, and then you do whatever you want to do. I mean, the world is open, and you ought to do what you want to do. Absolutely, especially if you're multi-talented, then that goes for that. I have another from okay. So it says if your hard work and is never appreciated, then how do you keep yourself calm in this condition?
I'll answer this. Yesterday, day before yesterday, a CEO came to me for some coaching. कभी CEOs भी आ जाते हैं. नहीं, अक्सर मेरे पास वही आते हैं. Who think they know everything. And this was a guy who came to me 6 months back. And he was in that you are into a different sphere when you think that you are the God and everything. So I told him, I said, yaar, tu ek kaam kar, you go to the Harvard and get yourself equipped. Because the competencies you have is not going to work. But when you are in success, you care of it.
Yeah.
So day before yesterday, he comes to me with his wife, crestfallen. The guy was at 2.6. And job. अब क्या करूं? देखा आप क्या करना है? अब जाओ गुरुद्वारे चलते हैं. लंगर तू भी खा और मैं भी खाता हूं. So I asked him. I said, "Why did this happen?" He said, "Because my team never stood for me." I said, "What was your pitch to the team?"
Yeah.
He said, "My pitch to the team was that the more they work, the more I wanted them to work." I said, "Did you appreciate them?"
Yeah.
Did you ever talk to them? Kehta, my room was a gas chamber. I insisted people never come to me. Is it fair? So the compound interest has now come.
Yeah, correct.
Hard work, or let's not put adjectives. Your work has to be seemingly different actually also. Right. And if you're doing something which is constructively different, there are enough people to notice. And if you're following the same line, then whether you are there or else is there, you're easily replaced. Right. So don't get into the self-notion that I am doing very hard work. I always say we work very hard, yet we hardly work. So change paradigm. Look at how you can contribute with a distinction, a distinctiveness in your company or with your. You need to revise your check chart and reinvent yourself. Because if we are going to follow the same pattern again and again, we'll get the same results again and again. And that's not what life is.
Yeah.
Launch your life.
Right. Case we are overshooting the time, but I am still tempted to ask maybe one last question. from Nina Chatrat, and she asks, what's your formula of getting through to Gen Next? I'm asking this question because examples do not work with them.
The simple thing is, why do you need to get through with them? Just be with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meena, what's the name? Meena, na?
Yeah, Nina, yes.
Meena, दोस्ती करो भाई. Lecture क्यों दे रहे हो उसको?
Absolutely right.
And I will urge you to go back and see, watch the movie To Serve with Love.
Yeah.
I work with colleges. And I never talk about, when I see, one of my subjects is values, and the most boring subject, yes or no, to the Gen X. So I make it interesting. I talk about things which they want, their titillations, and you know what they say? Yeah, mere jaisa yaar. Bas ho gaya kaam. Once the bridge is made and the pipe is put, then the information flow can come. Yes or no?
Yeah.
And once they believe that you are one like them, they are willing to go an extra mile for you. All right?
Yeah.
There is not Gen X or Gen Y. These are all adjectives. For my very simple, I work across, so I am telling you, just talk to them, listen to them, and tell them you are good. Let us all be great, and they'll love you for that.
That's right.
And always in front of them, admit that because of you, I am here. That's the most easy thing, yet the most difficult thing. Am I right?
Yes. I think, yes, this was wonderful 1 hour. We didn't even realize we have overshot the time, but this was truly wonderful. And since I can see a lot of people writing on the chats and questions, they have been asking. There's still a whole lot of questions which are still there. But I'm really thankful, KS, that you are here, and I think there were so many takeaways from this, but more important is, be a sponge, treat people with love, and be genuine. I think, that's how, that's the way and the formula you use even to reinvent yourself, go with that approach, make a commitment with yourself. With that, I really thank you, and I thank all the people. And I see there are a whole lot of people, over 100 people who are already here and live. And and some I can see some very, very senior, people from some companies whom I know personally. So I am really thankful to all of them for joining this conversation. And thank you very much. I think next time, in some time, we will again be back with another topic, another speaker, and we love you for you being here. And KS, thank you very much for making this very, very worthwhile. 1 hour spent.
Yogendra, just 2 quick cents on this. I was not great. You guys were simply awesome. It's because of all your energy and your blessings that मैं भी कुछ बोल पाया यार. वरना हम भी किसी काम के नहीं हैं.
Yes.
Thank you guys. I think you're born to win, never destined to lose. Imagine that, believe in that, and just do that. Success is, you don't have to run for success. Maza aayega the day success runs for you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Who put it all together. Thank you very, very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Everybody stay safe and take care.